Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, I know it's a little bit of a hiatus. I did miss Wednesday's video. I'm sorry. I'm trying, like I said, this season was to try and be consistently on a Wednesday, Sunday basis. It gives me an opportunity to basically save money, one, get out on fish, two, or at least get you guys something. But like I said in my community post, if you guys don't know what that is, if you go to my YouTube page and you go to community, I post stuff on there a lot, just kind of like my Twitter, my Instagram, or my Facebook pages, which you can actually all go at DWSDave31. That's capital DWS and the D for Dave. But I put it on the community post for you guys so you guys understand that, like, you know, I'll keep you updated that way as much as possible. That way you guys are in the loop. But I'm rambling. Keep it short. I'm going to be getting out with two iFishPro rods today. I'm gonna bring my jigging stuff just so I got something to do in between. But the main thing today is those guys. I'm gonna try and get out and get into some bigger fish so that we can get into some action, because I've been just lacking. I mean, you guys might be thinking differently, but I feel like I should be on fish every time I'm out, and when I'm not, it drives me insane. I have a problem with not catching fish, although it is fishing, not catching. Anyways, if you're seeing this, hopefully you got on some fish.
Already have a fish coming up after it. A big one.
Alright, it's getting late. I didn't mess with any of the B-roll getting up to this point. I'm just trying to get on some fish. I'm gonna put two tip-ups out and jig. Fingers crossed we get some big ones today.
Feels like a big bass. Oh, and of course I don't have my forceps with me. He's barely hooked too. Let's see this thing.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm back home. Last thing you probably seen was me catching that snake northern pike. Well, I mean, it was a 20-something and it was kind of fat, so healthy fish. Long story short, I missed... Well, you might have seen those, actually. What did I miss? I missed 2 or 3 flags. I got the one northern pike, and after that, I didn't get any more flags. I was thinking I would have got like a sundown, like walleye bite, or even more northern pike, or even a bass. I mean, a bass. I should have got at least one of those. But long story short, I'm back home. It's the next day. I actually stayed late, real late. I actually sat through a rain/ice storm. To the point where all of my tip-ups that I had out, hoping to get some walleye, maybe get a night shot of a walleye for you guys, all of my tip-ups were frozen solid to the ice. And I mean frozen like there was an encapsulation of everything. And you guys know I use my my iFishPros, these guys. So you have a rod and reel in there, and well, one of them has a bait feeder, the other one I just leave open. So the line goes freely so that like walleye don't drop and stuff like that. Long story short, everything was frozen solid. I mean, they were like statues. So I knew I was going to be sitting out there for a while to get those undone. So I know there's a real late crappie bite. So I figured I'd just stick around and see if I could get some. I got one, and then it started raining again. So I was debating life choices at that point. And then, well, needless to say, I stayed until I was frozen. And when I say I was frozen, I mean my jacket, my hood, everything. I was a shell of ice. That auger, if you go on my Instagram, you'll see it. Like my auger, my shack, everything was just solid ice. So I was kind of moping around, and I threw another minnow head on. And once I threw another minnow head on, by the way, I was using a minnow head and a spoon, if you guys are wondering. You didn't get to see any of those fish, but I caught 3 or 4 decent-sized crappie. I actually got one real big one. I have that on my Instagram, too, if you guys want to see that, or my Facebook page. They're linked, whatever. So I got like a 14 and a half or something last night, which was cool, because I've been seeing all these people all over online snag these big slabs, and I knew that if I stayed out late enough, I would get some. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to stay up late. I just liked the idea of getting up early, going to bed early, travel, fish, film, whatever. Long story short, let's do it this way. I was debating on doing this because I'm going to do it pretty simple, and it's a healthy way of doing things. I'm sure some of you have done this before, so I'm going to do a little catch and cook thing. You guys didn't see me catch the crappie, but I got a couple of them I got to clean, and I'm going to show you how I cook them when I want a snack for the day, and I want a healthy alternative to frying fish. So stay tuned. Okay, first things first. Ice. You need ice. Lots and lots of ice. Well, not an obsessive amount. Okay, check 1, ice. Step 2, salt. Lots and lots of salt. Always have salt on hand. Makes life a lot better. Step 3, liberal amount of salt. Step 4, mix the salt and water together. So there's plenty of ice, salt, and I add enough water to, you know, compensate for however many fillets I have. I think I have 6 or 8 fillets, so that'll fit in this bowl. Oh, that could be step 1 as the bowl, but keep it simple. Water, ice, salt. Mixing that together, it makes the water actually below freezing temperature, thus firming up your meat. So next step, clean the fish. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is a pretty big fillet knife. That's a pretty big crappie. That's towards the upper scale of what I will ever keep. I happen to know a couple bodies of water that this 11.5 inches like small. This is a 12 even. That's about average. This is a 13. The biggest I'll ever keep to eat is 13.5, 14. I rarely do unless this one I actually happen to keep right after this one. This is a big female. Normally I let these girls go. But I literally had this one fish, and like I said, if you can see, there's ice on these still. That's why I'm cleaning them today. These were all frozen to the lake, so there was no letting anything go. I was gonna just make sandwiches out of this guy. This one bit. I kept that one. This one bit. And then I got that monster. Obviously I let the monster go, but out of these 3, I can literally just eat this one and I'm good. And I'm a big boy and I don't need any more meat than this. This will probably be either my girlfriend's or my mom's, and if I do that, I'll give my mom this one, and that'll end up feeding her and her husband. My stepdad, they can eat those 2, and that's more than enough food. Normally this would be like, this one fish is enough to feed like 3 people. So anyways, enough of that, let's get into it. I'm gonna do this kind of quickly here, because crappie aren't usually that hard to clean unless they're frozen like this. Over here is that water and ice that I have. The reason for the water and ice and it being really cold, hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm actually in my basement doing this on my freezer so I can get this done inside here. The reason I do that is as soon as you clean the fish, you throw the fillets in there and then you let them stiffen up before you cook them, and it just makes them that much better. So like I said, I'm gonna try and do this kind of quick here. Right on, what is that, the pectoral fin, I believe, right behind the gill plate, you do an incision in with the scales, and then I go up behind the head here and turn my knife. It's kind of a natural thing, so it's really hard to describe. Hopefully you guys caught that little twist. I go to the back of the dorsal right there. I always have paper towel to clean the scales off so I don't make a mess and cut myself. Stick my thumb in there. Very carefully go along the backbone. Out towards the, I don't even know, you know what that thing's called. And out the back. So a lot of people will remove that and then flip it over. I've learned to keep that piece on there and then flip it over and do this side right away, because then the fish is still sitting naturally like you did with first piece. Same thing right behind the head, all the way up into the meat of the head, so you don't miss any meat. I don't like wasting fish, so if this isn't super fast, I don't care. I killed these fish, I want to eat them. I don't want to waste anything. So same thing, down to the backbone this way. What you're gonna do is, as you go along here, you'll feel the back of the ribs right in here. You feel for that, and you try and stick it right through the bottom there. Sometimes it comes through easy, sometimes it doesn't. Doesn't help that these fish are half frozen. Big tip, just clean your fish right away. So anyways, I'm going to go along here and cut the first row of bones that you come across on the rib cage. I know a lot of people that just take this whole fillet off. It's probably easier. I've been doing it this way forever, so that's just how I do it. And that's the fillet you end up with. And this is what I was talking about. I take this first row of bones off of here, and you get this little slice of meat off the ribs. The rest isn't really, there's meat there, but it's not a whole lot. And then you flip back to the side that you did before. Start at the head this time. Cut through that row of bones. Right down to the stomach like that. And there's your second fillet. And then as you can see, I got all of the meat. There's nothing wasted here. Absolutely nothing wasted. Next thing you'll see is me prepping this ready to eat. Oh, I guess you could see me. I don't skin mine, or I skin mine. I don't leave the skin on because I don't scale my fish. So pretty simple. Run the knife along. So no meat on the skin. And then I go back over this. This is the important part if you do it like this. Sometimes you'll have bones down along here. I do a little cut right there. That pulls that off. No bones up here, but you go back to the pocket right along where the rib cage is, where you might have got some of those pin bones. 1, 2, that little strip. That has pin bones in it. And this is the fillet you're left with, which is a big chunk of meat. Alright, next thing, let's eat some fish. Okay, so I said eat fish next, but alright, so as you guys can see, I've had these in here for a couple minutes, but they're already whitening up. This is really cold water, by the way. Actually colder than like if you stuck your hand in an ice hole. But yeah, I mix them up real good, rinse all the blood off, make sure to get them nice and clean. I'm not trying to eat any scales, but as you can see, I mix them around and they get nice and flaky white. Next step is I'm gonna make something to put on these guys. Like I said, this is a little bit of, it's a little more of a healthy alternative. It's not actually 100% healthy. So good amount of butter, or margarine in this case. If you have real butter, I envy you, because as healthy as I try to be, I like to eat good food. So okay, so I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna microwave it for like a minute. Be careful not to microwave it too much. Butter pops. Okay, melted butter. All I'm gonna do is add a little bit of lemon pepper, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion. Take a fork, mix it up real good. Okay, so here's the simple but easy part. If you have a Foreman at home, which I think everybody should because it's simple and easy, keeps you fishing more often. It's got a non-stick thing. This is a habit. So throw down some non-stick. Take one fillet. Take your second fillet. Oh, 2 big fillets. This doesn't take long with fish, just so you know. Fish cooks really quick on here. So pour your mixture over the top of this. And mind you, you don't have to do the lemon pepper thing. I just love lemon pepper flavored fish. Like I was saying, this happens kind of quickly, even though these are some pretty thick fillets. And I would say that's about a teaspoon or tablespoon's worth of butter. So they've been on there for about a minute, minute and a half. Close it, put the timer on. I like to do 4 to 5 minutes. We'll do 5 minutes. And we'll check back then. And then there was food. That's homemade coleslaw. I had that in the fridge already. But as you can see, they turned nice, white, flaky, golden color with that on there. And then good to go. Okay, so as you can see, I'm about to eat some of that really good food. If anybody's ever wondered, you know, how you stay healthy and make it so you can get out there and fish as much as possible for the rest of your life, this is a simple way of doing it. I still like fried fish. Don't get that wrong. I will eat fried fish. And I actually have a little experiment I kind of want to try with the next fish I keep. So stay tuned for that catch and cook. It's not going to be even close to the same as anybody else's, just like this one isn't. Obviously, if you don't have a Foreman, you should get one already. Not sponsored by Foreman at all. It's so useful. But I'm going to eat this food. Obviously, if you're not new here, you know what's up. But if you're new here, just remember to